Here's the overview of the mission. And this is Tom Norris talking. It was not a particularly difficult mission, and it was certainly something we'd done before, so we knew the drill. In general, it was about a 50-mile transit from Tuinan up the Cuivette River in our boats. We'd then leave the junks and paddle in close to shore on rubber boats, and then swim ashore from the rubber boats. We'd insert, do our job, and get out before first light.
We were doing a body snatch too, of course. Mm-hmm. Of course, by a body snatch, you get your best intelligence that way. So,
you get on the beach, and I could see a good ways up and down the beach. No river mouth, and nothing looked familiar. And then, like you said, you know you're in the wrong space, but you might as well do a reconnaissance while you're there, and that's kind of the decision that's made. Now, as you're patrolling, you start seeing fires, and eventually you see movement, you see bunkers, and Tommy says, I think it's about time we get the heck out of here. You say, Roger that, sir. It's about 0300. You got about 3 hours of darkness left, and you get into a stream.
Correct.
And start moving towards the beach.
Well, it's for three different reasons. One, it keeps you a low silhouette. We knew that we were within a battalion of NVA at that period of time. Then we saw tanks and gun emplacements, so we knew that we were way north of where we were supposed to be.
The thing that went wrong is there was a Vietnamese patrol, two-man patrol.
Two-man patrol.
That came down the beach. One of them was up on the sand dunes, one of them was down on a beach level area.
And your idea is, cool, it's time to do our body snatch.
That's correct.
He looked at the guy on the beach, which is 200 yards away, and this guy's got a gun, this guy's got an AK-47. And he says, light aim out in. I mean, stop, put up your hands and come here. Well, this guy, all these guys rip off there. So this guy was coming up around the sand dunes. I took my weapon, I cold-cocked him, and I knew what the village was. And this guy opened fired on the Vietnamese officer. He jumped down behind the sand dune, and I started chasing this other guy down the beach because I wanted to get him before he got back to that village. So I'm chasing this guy down there, and Tommy's up on the top of this big sand dune overlooking everything, and all he sees me kind of run up in this jungle.
And he was heading straight to the entrance to the village, and I dropped down to one knee, hit two shots, hit him in the back. He fell down, and the next thing, all hell. Those 50 to 75 bad guys were chasing us down.
But next thing he sees me running back out of this jungle, heading back towards Tommy. There's about 50 people running after me. They got so close that we were throwing grenades back and forth. You know, what I'd do, I'd take aim, because they'd pick up their head, and as soon as they picked their head up, I'd aim right there where the sand was. And when they'd lift their head, I'd crack off a round. Then I'd roll to another position. They could never really find out where I was. And another reason you do this,
we moved all the time.
We moved all the time. They couldn't count how many people we had. They quit.
They never had a target.
Yeah, they never had a target to shoot at. So I kept picking my targets. I'd knock them off. I'd move to another target. Well, for some reason, they stopped.
You're about halfway through your ammo at this point, and then, speaking of these grenades, you're in one of these positions, and boom, in comes one of those grenades to your spot. What'd you do about that?
Well, I yelled grenade, and I grabbed it and threw it back. I was going 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. About the time I hit 8,000, the damn grenade came back over, and I'm going 12,000, 13,000, because, of course, we do it in thousands, and that gives you a good second. I threw it back, and the grenade went back and forth 5 times, and I was at 21,000, 22,000. I said, this thing's got to go off, and it went off, and I was hit 6 times in my back with shrapnel. I just stayed there, and I looked up, and there was 4 guys coming across, and I eliminated all 4 of those guys. And that's when we found out they started falling back. And Tommy said, you fall back. I looked across, and I said I couldn't understand why, because I counted almost 100 guys, and Tommy said it's a lot more than that, and it was a NVA battalion. They were trying to encircle us. And
the last ship that I talked to, I just gave them a coordinate, and I said, fire for effect, blow this place away. We're extracting. There was a group of about 15 or 20 that were coming up on our position, and I had a law rocket, and I wanted to use that. That's a pretty devastating weapon when it's used, and I thought maybe that would give us some time to make a run for it. So I had set up with this law rocket to try and shoot at this group, and that's when I got hit.
In the fight, Tom Norris took an AK-47 round to the left side of his forehead.
So I grabbed my gun, and I went running back up there, and I saw Tommy laying on the side, and I thought Tommy was dead. I grabbed Tommy. At this time, we were being overrun at the position, so I got down in a kneeling position. I shot several guys right there. When they saw me that I was there, they stopped and they started firing, and I grabbed Tommy and put him on my shoulders and started the run with him. Well, I didn't know that Tommy had told the Newport News to fire for effect. Well, the first round came in, and the concussion hit, and it blew me like 20 feet in the air, and I'm watching Tommy's body fly off my shoulders, and he hits the ground like a kaploop like that. And I get up and I'm dazed, but luckily the round hit behind me a little bit to the south, and it really got these guys' attention. So I run over and I grab Tommy to pick him up. I'm dazed from the concussion, and he says, "Mike, buddy." And I knew he was still alive, and I grabbed him and I picked him up. Half his head's hanging out, and I pick him up and I put him back on my shoulders and I started running. And then another 8-inch round came in. When I got back to the sand dune, the other two guys got behind that sand dune and they gave us fire support as I was running back, because when they saw me running back with Tommy, they started chasing us. We got the sand dune, I laid Tommy down, I turned around, I opened fired on everybody, and they said, "Mike, what did we do?" I said, "We swim for it." I said, "When I say go, we go." So they were covering me, I got Tommy situated on my back in a fireman's carry. I said, "Ready, go," and we started running. We got to the beach and I stumbled and fell, and Tommy rolled over like that, and I said, "Gosh, if they didn't kill him, I'm gonna kill him," dropping him all this time. And I took him and I put him in front of me and I started swimming. Well, when I started swimming with Tommy, the young Vietnamese, Quan, comes flying by me, but he got shot through his right buttocks and he couldn't use his leg. So I grabbed him, I put him on my back. He was on my shoulders. I had Tommy in front of me like this, with his arms, I had him wrapped, and I told Dane to hold his arms, and I'm breaststroke swimming like that. And I'm swimming, and all I could do is see all these bullets just flying through the water. After we got past the surf zone, they just kept flying.
You kept swimming and kept swimming and kept swimming, and you're out there for 3 hours. Then my junk skipper got a call from the other junk. They said they had swimmers in the water and were going to get them. You can't know what that meant. Again, obviously, I can't cover the whole book on this show, but get the book.